Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to your morning. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so I could almost fit in that square. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. How are we all doing today? Having a good day? All right, so I'm going to give it time for everyone to start tuning on in. Let's see. I need to make this a little bit smaller, I believe. Here we go. There we go. You guys are tired? Guys, there's no time to be tired when there's so much opportunity, right? So just so you guys can see, I have not taken one position during pre-market hours. So you guys can see, not one order, nothing, everything is closed, and we're ready, right? One of the things that I want to remind you is that, again, every day we are tested with the same idea, right? And it's, I'm tested with my patience, I'm tested with my discipline, and I'm tested with my consistency. I want to consistently make sure that I only take advantage of opportunities that are 100% worth it and that make sense to me. So before we take a position, let's understand that every single day is a new test. We're put up to the plate and we are tested by the market. And whether we win or whether we lose, that is solely up to you, right? So let's go ahead and accept that, right? Let's try to find a good opportunity. One of the things that I do notice right now is that /CL is a little bit more on the overextended side, right? It was showing signs of an uptrend. It became overbought, came overextended. It began to sell off. There it goes. It's starting to pull back. Makes sense on why it's pulling back. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD, 100%. I'm going to skim right on over. Same thing going on with /NG. Look at this, a little bit more on the overbought side, overextended. Based off of previous patterns, you can see that it's almost been making lower highs. You can see on why this thing can begin to potentially sell off, right? So let's go ahead and set our alerts. Again, set ourselves up for success. You're going to be a good dad. I appreciate that. Thank you. And here we go, /NQ. Market recovery. Based off of where it closed at and where it's at right now, the market is actually green, which means that gold should be down. So again, keep a very close eye on its direction. Keep a very close eye. Make sure that you do your part as a trader to understand what you're getting yourself into. So I think that /CL is overbought and overextended. Can it continue to uptrend? Of course. Do I think it's a good deal? No. So what I'm going to do, just to get some skin in the game, is I'm going to buy some of this. And I'm going to buy, let's see, if I buy 3,000 shares, I'm going to go with that. All right, 3,000 shares. I bought a little bit under 710. There we go, 711, 713. Woo! My position size is way too small, but /NG is selling off as well. Come on, my second TOS screen. No, get out of here. Here we go, /CL. There we go. We're pulling back, and that's exactly what I want to see. So again, /CL, we could see that it began to pull back. The pattern that I saw that was a little bit more on the overextended side made sense. Cool. Now it's pulling back, and now I want this thing to continue to sell off. But just because I want something to happen, guys, let me ask you this. I want this to sell off. Let's say you want this to sell off. Is that enough to take a position? Is it? Is that enough to drive the price up on DWT? In my experience, heck no. Right? My wants and my desires have no correlation, right, to the overall market. So I need to wait for confirmation on /CL that that's going to sell off and that DWT will then push up. That's what I'm waiting for. And here we go. There we go, making lower lows, and that's where I get filled. Another, I got filled right below 713, so right around 712. So here we go, dropping a little bit more on /CL. This is what we got going on here. You guys see this? Let's see if we can do it. Can we do it? Nope. Look at this. Potential bounce. And this is where I'm going to have to be quick. So I'm not fully invested in my overall, position size. I'm not in exactly the amount that I would want to be. But I'm carefully watching. I'm carefully watching. Ricky is the market maker. He's ahead of it. Nope. I'm just the dingleberry that is a little bit more patient than some people. And luckily, that is enough to do well in the market. Here we go. Can we get a 712, 712, 713, 713? Can I get a 712 right here on the bid? Let's see. Nope. Bouncing off that SMA line. And one of the things that I actually do want to point out, and this is actually something that I just noticed, I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to this. /CL, right, became overbought, overextended. There it goes. So it did break below it. It pulled back and it bounced at this middle VWAP. So it didn't actually make lower lows. So something that I want to point out is that, as of right now, we're not expected in a sense to make lower lows. It would be cool if we do, but again, there's nothing wrong with locking in profit. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I did not notice that, right? I did not notice that was actually something that was going on. And let's see. Oh no, it's finding a support. See. I like that. I like that. I like that. Let's see. I like that. All right. Well, again, I want to do my part in getting out. I got out. I just want to make sure that we don't make the same. And there it goes. 715, 716. I know I got out too early on this one. I 100% get it. But again, based off of previous patterns, it did not make lower lows. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like it pulled back and pushed up, and the time that it pulled back, it didn't go as low as it did before. So based off of that, this thing can 100% continue to sell off, but I want to wait for confirmation of that. So I didn't make very much. I made $217, but that's, again, we're a couple minutes in. I want to be, safe. I want to make sure I have a good start to the morning. And there it goes. Hey, the pattern that I saw value in makes sense. And that's all that matters, right? The pattern that I originally saw value in makes sense. So here we go. Let's see. The MACD on DWT is now a little bit more on the overbought side, right? And the MACD on /CL is a little bit more on the oversold side. So I'm going to be a little bit more selective with this one. I'm going to set my alert, and if we get a breakout, then maybe I can consider the idea of kind of going with the flow. But as of right now, I could also see why /CL can find a support here. And just because the idea of me potentially finding a support, but Ricky, isn't the middle VWAP a resistance? B tags, you are 100% correct. And with /CL, the middle VWAP can be viewed as a support. And there it goes. It looks like it's still selling off, so that's in favor of DWT, which should put 717 on the bid. Here we go. So 717, I sold a little bit too early. Gee willikers. All right. Here we go. We have a couple of you that were asking about /NG. What was your question about /NG? I don't really remember. Love seeing this energy. Ryan, I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like I got pretty good sleep. I am feeling a little sick. But let's be honest. That's a very small little issue to have when we're surrounded with so many blessings, right? So Alex, you cracked me up. Yeah, let me see if you guys had any questions for natural gas here. Why would you buy it at the resistance then? No, it wouldn't be that I would buy it at the resistance. So what's been going on is that this is a perfect example. So B tags, I 100% get what it is that you were saying. So, okay, so it did find a support. So congrats to all those that locked in profits on / on DWT. But a perfect example could be like, /CL was overextended here, right? Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It began to sell off, and the MACD and the RSI was already super oversold. But when the pattern is so determined, right, when there's maybe even just more of a fundamental reason on what's driving the price down, it doesn't matter what the MACD is saying, this thing will continue to rally and continue to sell off. That's what I was kind of like trying to figure out. Is this thing going to continue to sell off regardless of the indicators? Remember, indicators are great resources to use as references. They're not fact, right? They're not something that has to happen. So just because something's overbought, right? So like for DWT, just because something is overbought right here doesn't mean that it can't continue to uptrend. Yes, it probably means that it's not a good deal, but it doesn't mean that it can't continue to rally. Direction and consistent patterns have more weight in my experience than overall indicators. Indicators are great resources to use as references once confirmed. But if the confirmation is never there and something continues to rally, the pattern, in my experience and in my opinion, always outweighs the indicators. That's why I've said so many times to kind of like, go with the flow, right? When something is showing signs of an aggressive ascending uptrend pattern and it just continues to rally, don't try to trade against the overall direction, because we know how powerful that can be. If you've ever been caught in something that, was a, let's say this, like you trade these ETFs, right? And you got caught in something that you saw something to be super overbought, so you bought the inverse ETF, but then whatever was super overbought just continues to rally all day and just completely obliterated what you thought, was overbought. I've been there so many times where you just continue to backhold because you're just like, how much more can this thing sell off? But it's like, there is no dollar amount, there is no percentage that, will determine that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, TQs, right, is a perfect example of this. This thing was oversold, but just continued and continued to sell off. And it's like, just imagine all the people that were back holding lost, a huge amount of, like 5-8%, which is huge. It is huge. That's a huge portion of your position size. So Jeffrey, yeah, so it's good that you understand the overall direction. I think that's very important, right? Because that's going to give you a better understanding to, feel comfortable either holding or not holding, because you have the understanding of the direction. And I think that's super, super important. But with that being said, when I'm day trading, I don't put so much weight on the 180-day chart. It's good to have that in the back of your head, but it's not something that I will have as like a deciding factor on what to day trade, because I find the 1 day, 1 minute chart patterns or more recent patterns to have more weight in comparison to the 180-day chart. And here we go. DWT is pushing up. We're back at 117, 118, and it looks like, it's going to continue to rally. Let's see if we can get it. Jesus, I missed it. I missed that one for sure. There it goes. It pushed up to 720. That would have been really nice. And again, this is also a really good example of, the overall direction of something. So this thing tried to push up, it got rejected by the EMA line, and then continued to sell off. But now it's a little bit more on the oversold side. So yes, it can continue to sell off, or we can wait for this thing to try to bounce, get rejected at the EMA line, get a better deal in DWT, and then wait for this thing to continue to sell off. So thanks a ton, Ricky. Oh, of course, that's what I'm here for, right? To answer your questions. I think you had a really good question, so I appreciate you. Dang. FOMO. That would have been nice. That's about 1%. There it goes. Ooh, dang. Yeah, natural gas. Do you guys see this? Do you guys see like this quick change? I don't like that. I don't play well with this because that means that you're going to have to quickly cut losses, and this all happened within 1 minute. And if you have a stop loss, you probably won't get filled at exactly the price point that you want to. So this volatility is too much for me to want to partake in. I like that, it has margin, all that stuff. I think that's great. But if the risk, and this is up to you, if the risk that it's, presenting itself with is too aggressive, and you just know that you're not going to work, don't just think about all the positives of like, oh my God, look how much money I could have made. No, think about what if you were down here? What if you were actually trading DES and then there's a quick change of direction? Because that's what can happen. So be safe, trade smart, and don't put yourself in a position that you do not feel comfortable in. I think that would be my number one biggest piece of advice, at least for right now, is with this market volatility, this should empower you to be that much more selective. Don't just throw your money at anything. Be selective. So Ricky, do you watch the news and does it affect your trades? Of course, there's certain factors in certain news, Richie, that of course influences natural gas, crude oil, right? Does the overall market condition have an exact direct influence? No, but there's certain things that are being said that you guys can notice within the past week, especially the past 3 days. There's been a lot of volatility due to all this talk, and that's, I think, even that much more of a reason on why you should be selective. So natural gas is now overextended. Now it looks like it's beginning to try to pull back, right? So look at the RSI, look at the MACD. And there it goes. Still continuing to try to rally. There goes DWT. It's trading at 721, 722. Do you feel yourself adjusting? Do you feel yourself adjusting your strategy as time goes on, or no? Of course. I think, and I'm a true believer in this, and this is something that I think everyone that either experienced success in the market or in any business, if you want to continue to experience success, hey, Leanne, what's going on? If you want to continue to experience success, if you run your own business, if you, trade in the market, you always have there's very similar concepts and your core, your core fundamentals that will stay the same, right? But there's always different approaches, right, that you're going to have, and you're always going to have to be on your toes to make sure that you're able to, move quick if the market begins to change. You guys could see that even a year ago from now, my trading style was very different. It still had very simple, series of habits and stuff like that, but altogether, with market conditions being less consistent, with the market maybe being a little bit more volatile, it empowers me to be more selective. It empowers me to focus a little bit more on consistency, being a little bit more conservative and locking in profits. So you just have to adapt, right? It's kind of like survival of the fittest, right? But now it comes down to trading instead of life. And that's really just it. So I think that it will begin to make more sense to you on what it is that you need to do when you have an understanding of what needs to be done with your approach for the stock market. So once you find your approach of what's working well for you in the market, and even if the markets do begin to change, you'll at least, because you'll be self-sufficient, will at least understand what it is that you need to do and what it is that you need to stop doing. And yes, it does take time. No one's perfect, and some might learn quicker than others. But over time, it's just going to begin to click. It's going to begin to make more sense. And I think that if we have any business owners that are watching, it's always great to have like your credo and then your working fundamentals for your company. But I think that we can all agree that if you want to stay relevant, especially in a very aggressive market, right, you're going to always have to be on your toes. And you're always going to have to be willing to adapt based off of demand and where that value's at. So, yeah, I mean it's fun. I like it. I am literally put to the test, and this is why I want to remind you every single morning that you wake up. I don't want you to think that like, oh my God, I'm going to make this much money today, blah, 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 blah. I am put to the test every single day. You are stepping up to the plate and you are tested with your patience, with your discipline, and making sure that you follow your rules, that you only trade quality trades and quality setups. It is that simple. And every single day is a test. Brandon, looks like a couple of you are giving you some tips that you might want to call TD Ameritrade. I do not know why futures are being delayed 20 minutes on your Thinkorswim. Mine are not delayed 20 minutes, so I do not know why you're experiencing that. Thanks. Helpful to know. Of course, appreciate you. And there it goes. Natural gas with that pullback. It made sense on why it could pull back, right? Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. This is a huge margin. Like, I don't know if you guys understand that. This is like 1%. This is a 1% move. That's really solid. The spread on DGAS is a little wide. You guys can see here, right? It's about 50 cents. So it's a little risky. And right now it moves a little bit too much, and 1% or 2%, right, might be nice. It's really nice. It's my daily goal. But the risk just comes at a little bit too high of a price, right? I don't want to put myself in the red, and I want to be selective. So yeah, no, I agree. No clear direction, then let's wait for it, right? Brendan, I like that. TOS not showing my show trades. Did you ever have this issue before? No. Nope. I mean, mine show. Where? I don't know where your show trades or anything like that would be, but no, mine look good. Show trades as in like, what's it called? Like for like DWT, right? I'm so sorry. I had a little brain fire. I was like, what do you mean show trades? Yeah, that issue has happened to me before so many times. Whoa, where's DWT? What the heck? Like if it doesn't show, so if you go here, right? And then you go here and click show trades. Mine's show right now, but yeah, I've had that issue multiple times where it will not show it. I've actually been live and I've clicked show trades and it doesn't show it, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do, right? I'm just there kind of like, all right, looks like natural gas or crude oil is beginning to show signs of a potential reversal, right? Okay, natural gas still selling off. I like that. Just remember, it's more of like the middle VWAP that was acting as a support, but natural gas was pretty aggressively pushing up. So yeah, let's be patient. Let's not be afraid to lock in profits. You guys know that I'm here to be that annoying person to remind you every single day that it's best to lock in profits than to go from being green to red, right? I want you to feel comfortable with whatever it is that you do. So just make sure that your actions speak louder than your words. If you want to be consistently profitable, then make sure that your actions align with that. Here we go, /CL. Looks like we're getting rejected once again. Yeah, I wouldn't say crude oil sold off. So again, there's here we go. I would say that it definitely did pull back. So I'm gonna go in on DWT. And I'm gonna go in with see. I'm sorry that what I've been trading has been pretty slow. I do apologize for that. I feel like we've been talking about a lot of things that there we go. Natural gas pulled back, broke below the EMA line, and yep, right around that middle VWAP. So it covered a huge margin, right? That would have been really nice to capture. The risk in my eyes just seemed a little high, but yeah, that was about 2%. That would have been a really, really nice trade. You can't win them all. We identified the opportunity. It's just the action part. I found the risk to be a little bit high for me, and that's just my opinion. And I was okay with not taking it. But again, it's the idea that matters. That you're able at least to identify, even if you're not actively trading, just practice on, identifying quality setups, ones that you see value in, but maybe are not ready to take due to the risk. And you'll slowly begin to build, your confidence. And even if it doesn't go according to plan, then refer back to it and see why maybe it didn't work out according to plan, right? And you could use it as reference. I like that, Corey. Congrats. JNUG had a 2% run, really? Okay. From its dip buy, right? About 2.5%. I think that this is a very hopeful dip buy, right? Ooh, my goodness. And this is why I need to pay attention to what I'm trading. Wow, this volatility is kind of all over the place. How did you see that pencil to get that percentage? I explained that in the course, but it's under drawing tools, and it's called trend line tool. So please, please, please do me the biggest favor, and if you have not completed the course, let that be top priority for these upcoming weeks. The MACD is beginning to curl down for /CL, which is in my favor for DWT. But we don't have full-on confirmation of that, so just waiting for lower lows on /CL. Jesus. Look at that quick change of direction. Volatility is absolutely ridiculous on natural gas. Yeah, this is kind of like, it's very, very aggressive. So please, 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 trust me. I find this to be very attractive, and it almost makes me want to buy the dip on DGAS just because of the volatility. Please don't just think about all the things that can go right. Think about what can go wrong, and do you want to put yourself in that position? Confirmation is super, super important. Don't put yourself in a bad position. It's that simple. Just set yourself up for success. Looks like I got filled on this. Still waiting. Waiting for crude oil to sell off or to identify a more clear direction. For those that are asking, do I have a 1% stop loss? My ideal loss is at 0.5%. So this is not something that I would recommend just for anybody, but I definitely, and again, I'm still refining because of the dollar amount that I'm trading with and trying to become more comfortable. I don't want to take a $1,000 loss. I don't want to take a 1% loss when 1.5% is my daily goal. So I would rather keep it at under 1% and keep it around 0.5 to 0.7. And I feel like I could recover from that much quicker. And that's kind of like what I'm waiting for as of right now. So for those that are asking, like, what's the percentage that I'm like looking for or trying to manage my risk on, that would be right around that like 0.5% for the position, which I have to say is pretty conservative, right? Like it's pretty tight, but I'm not under the PDT rule. I can day trade as many times as I want, and I'd rather keep them smaller than my gains. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. I'm really sorry, team, for the really boring live stream right now, especially now that I'm down on that position. I'm down about $300. So it sucks. I do apologize. It's not the most exciting, but this is, what today's playing out to be so far. And that's okay. But yeah, let's see. The MACD looks good. The MACD looks really good for forward/CL. Like it looks like it should begin to curl down. The RSI doesn't look like, it looks a little bit more on the overbought side. But just like we've said multiple times, indicators are just indicators until, they're not facts. They're just things that we can use as reference, and until proven, yeah, I mean, there's not much that we can do with it. So let's see. Here we go. We're getting a little bit of a pullback. Okay, I like that. Do you guys see this? Look at the MACD. This is what I was talking about, the curling MACD. It's approaching that middle VWAP, the curling RSI. This is all in my favor. And yeah, I mean, the more it sells off, the better it is for me, but it doesn't have to sell off. And again, at the end of the day, like, I need to manage my risk. I need to make sure that my trades make sense to me and try to set myself up for success, correct? So it's kind of where I'm at right now. Here we go. Wow, that was a nice push. I like that. Here we go. Yep, there's the volatility becoming overextended, pulling back. Nice. Watch out for this SMA line. Do you guys see how it got rejected previously at the SMA line? So nothing wrong with being selective. Jeez Louise. I think we're covered right away. Looks like we might be getting rejected at the SMA line. Let's see. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. And we're off. Watch out for the break below previous support. Previous support at 54.80. Can we break below that? Doesn't look like we can. Oh. PAYS broke below its support. Here we go. Jesus. There it goes. I sold at 719. Yeah. There it goes. All right. Yeah, my entry point wasn't the best on this. That was a very, very poor trade. I do apologize for that. Yeah, there's nothing else that I can. I mean, the fault lies on me, right? $500. That was not a good 30 minutes of trading. Yeah, I'm not saying the $500 is not good. The $500 is great in 30 minutes. I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying about the percentage and waiting for the opportunity to present itself and stuff like that. I tried to do a good job managing my risk. I was borderline about to manage it, right? We were pushing that 0.5%. So great job, Ricky. Your risk management, it's best. I appreciate that. But yeah, again, I just try to focus on trying to be patient, consistent with my best practices, and trying to keep my losses small. That's my biggest thing. So if you guys, if there's two things that you guys take away from moving forward, from like there's a lot of things that I would hope that you guys take away from like watching me trade, but two things I think are one thing I think I do very well, and that's I'm consistent. I'm very consistent with what I do, and I really hope that you can not just implement that in your trading, but in your day-to-day life with, and anything that you want to be successful in. I think consistency is one of the biggest and very, very simple factors that you can begin to implement that can cause a dramatic change, right? Like very small, consistent, like progress throughout a long period of time can lead to huge results. So the second thing that I hope that you guys understand that I'm still working on to getting better on is risk management, right? Especially since I was doing a really good job managing my risk when I traded with a smaller dollar amount, but it's become more difficult just because of the emotional aspect. So if you guys have two takeaways, I hope that you learn. I try to emphasize as much as possible to be consistent with whatever it is that you want to do, right? With locking in profits, getting in when you get that confirmation, and just being consistent in general. And another thing is the only way that you can grow your account and want to continue to trade in this market is if you keep your losses small. So I really hope that those two things can be something that you guys can do or get some takeaway. Can you do some breakdowns, please? Sure, if you have a breakdown for me that I haven't done already, send it my way. It has to be posted in the ticker call out format. So my broker, Chase, JP Morgan. Yeah, that's definitely something that happens. Super Snake, overall market is shaky right now. Don't have to force a trade. I agree. It's best to wait for the opportunity to present itself, right? Even if you're up 0.0001% today, or even if you're up nothing, just remind yourself it's better than being in the red. And you have nothing but time to make a profit, right? And to grow your account. Don't put yourself in a position today that you're going to regret tomorrow, right? So let's keep that in mind. Yes, I know that we all have that itch to trade, but let's not force it. Looks like /CL is beginning to /NG got rejected and is beginning to pull back. I'm waiting to see if Alex has that stock that you want me to break down. Nope. Really upset about this. What's going on, kid? Talk to me. Is it something that I did? The ticker, yeah. I believe it's posted in our group chat for Discord. If you go to group alerts and you go to pinned, it should be right here. Really upset about this. Asked about entering DGAS probably 6 times. I talked about DGAS multiple times. I talked about natural gas when it was -6. What? Yeah, I talked about DGAS multiple times. I just didn't feel comfortable taking the position, but I referred to it multiple times. So I don't know if you're upset with me that I didn't break it down enough, but I was trading, right? And I still brought it up from time to time. So I do apologize if I let you down, but I felt like I did my part in just breaking it down and giving you my 2 cents. Why did you feel like it was not a good position for it? Kate, I'm saying that I just didn't feel comfortable. I saw the opportunity. I said that multiple times. I found the risk to be a little bit too high. The volatility is too crazy, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. And just because of that, I didn't care about the percentage. It just wasn't worth the risk for me. So my girlfriend and I both watch every day now. I think that's just that's so cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, so Kate, at the end of the day, like if you see value in something and you have a plan for success, right? Like a trade plan, then go for it. Like I'm not here to tell you what to do, when to enter, when to sell. My 2 cents should be taken as just that, my opinion. Your opinion is more relevant than mine. You're the final decision maker on what you choose or choose not to take advantage of. So I thought all you played was volatility day trade. No. I played patterns and consistent patterns, not when things are consistently all over the place and changing direction. This is not something that I see to be super clear, correct? And this change, like I said in the live stream, can quickly change direction. So just don't think about all the positives, but think about the negatives. It doesn't matter when it goes up 2%. It could have gone down 2%, and what would you be saying then? It's the volatility that adds risk to the table. If you think so small volatility, yeah, I really don't want to like go back and forth. If you saw value in it, then you go for it. It didn't meet my criteria, and I will say this time after time. If it does not meet my criteria, I don't care what you have to say or what anyone has to say. I just simply won't trade it, right? I'm not here to trade for you. You're not here to trade for me. So let your actions speak louder than your words. And if you see an opportunity that meets your criteria, then who cares what anyone else says? Go for it. Just accept the risk. That's all. I spoke about it multiple times within the live stream. I'm not too sure if you were paying attention. But yeah, I spoke about it multiple times. So you can rewatch the live stream if you'd like. Yeah, Alex, what's the ticker symbol? So just send me the ticker symbol and I'll break it down for you. That's the whole point, right, Lori? You have trained me to have a viewpoint of my own, and it's working. That's what it's all about. It's not me here to give you the okay or anything like that. It's for you to trade what you see value in. Okay, ticker symbol CG, showing signs of an uptrend. Overall SMA line, right? Overall SMA line acting as a potential support. The MACD and the RSI, all that looks good, but it's still getting rejected by this, what's called EMA line. So I would do your part, right? Just to wait for maybe a little bit more confirmation, because right now this thing is pushing up, but what if it gets rejected and then continues to sell off? So you would be then buying at a resistance. So just do your part and maybe waiting a little bit more. If you plan on swing trading, if you just plan on day trading it, then if you see a clear pattern, if you see a clear direction, then great, all power to you. I just don't see that. So I would feel a little bit more comfortable if I were to get that confirmation on the 180-day chart and know that I'm kind of going with the flow. I think that would go a long way. Correct. I would not enter because it doesn't meet my criteria. All right. Ooh, /CL with the strong push up might present a little opportunity, right? Once we get that confirmation. But I'm going to close it out here. So I've been live for almost, holy moly, 1 hour. So let's see. Alrighty, I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that you guys have an absolute amazing rest of your Tuesday. Be patient, be consistent, allow the opportunity to present itself. And if you see value in, set up a plan. Set up a plan, manage that risk, stay consistent, and make sure that you lock in those profits. I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope and wish you guys an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. Make one person smile today, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.